Tennessee, Georgia, prime time. Take the under. Here's why. If we look at the stats, we'll see that offensively, Tennessee's scoring about 49.5 points to Georgia's almost 42. Tennessee has a slight edge in passing yards with 353 to Georgia's 328. And both teams are pretty even in rushing yards, with Tennessee at just under 200 and Georgia at 202. Then defensively, we'll see that Tennessee's given up 21 points a game to Georgia's 10.5. So Georgia is giving up 10.5 less points than Tennessee. Tennessee's also giving up 300 passing yards per game to Georgia's 177. And Tennessee's giving up just about 93 rushing yards to Georgia's 85.5. Now, looking at the offensive stats, you would think, wow, you're crazy, you're going to take the under. But Tennessee offensively has been a different team on the road. They've scored 34 against Pittsburgh, and they did score 40 in their other away game at LSU. So LSU isn't some top-tier defense, and neither is Pitt by any means. But Georgia's, they're legit. They've got a good defense. I know they lost a lot from last year's team, but they're legit, and Tennessee's on the road, so it'll be interesting. I think Georgia, to have success in this game, they're going to need to throw the ball a little bit, but they should be able to get a little success on the ground, so they should be able to look to kind of slow the game down and dominate the clock to keep Tennessee's offense off the field. If we look at the against the spread stats, we'll see that Tennessee is 7-1 overall this year with a 2-0 record as the away team, while Georgia's 4-4 overall this year, and they're 2-2 as the home team and as a home favorite. So just looking at the spread stats, you would think Tennessee covers here based on their track record thus far this season. They are an underdog, so it wouldn't be a bad spot to take Tennessee, but you never know. Looking at the over-under stats, we'll see that Tennessee's 5-3 in their overs this season, and they're 0-2 on the road. Kind of getting back to what I mentioned, they are a little bit of a different team on the road. And Georgia's 2-6 in their overs this season with a 2-4 record at home. So kind of looking at the over-under records, that's what kind of has me leaning towards the under. Plus the line's pretty high. It's in the 60s. So I would expect Georgia to play some defense. I could see Tennessee getting, 28 points or so. But I think this will be a close game. I could see a 31-28 game or a 34-28 game. I think they keep it within one possession, and that's if Tennessee scores 28 points. If we move on to the all-time series, we'll see that Georgia leads the all-time series with a 26-23-2 record, but Georgia has won the last 5 meetings, so Georgia has had some recent success against Tennessee, and I wouldn't be surprised if that kind of carries over to this year, especially with them being the home team. Looking at the line movement, the spread opened up at Tennessee plus 11.5, and it's moved to plus 8. For Tennessee. So kind of giving Tennessee some respect based on who they've played this year, but they're also giving Georgia a little bit of credit with them being, number 3 team in the country, a legit football team, and they're at home. The point total opened up at 52, and it's now moved up 14 points to 66. I just think that's way too high. I think if you were to take that over, you're going to be sweating the whole game, and I would much rather take the under because I feel much more comfortable with that. Then if we look who the public's on, we'll see that 80% of the public is on Tennessee to cover. That's a lot. 80% of the public is skewed quite a bit. I don't think, personally, that Tennessee is going to cover. I think it's going to be a one-possession game for most of it, and then Georgia might pull away late. So we'll have to see, but I'm just going to stay away from the spread. And with that being said, getting on to my pick, as I mentioned at the beginning of the video, I am going to be leaning towards under 66. I just think that it's a lot of points, and I think both teams should have a little bit of a defensive battle here for the majority of the game, if not the first half. Then for the parlay that I put together for this game, we're looking at Stetson Bennett over 250 plus passing yards for the first leg. If you look at his last 5 or 6 games, he's only thrown for less than 250 yards in one of them. And if you look at Tennessee's defensive stats, they're averaging giving up 300 passing yards per game. Now, that's mostly because teams are playing from behind and needing to throw the ball, but their secondary is vulnerable, and I would expect Georgia to try and take advantage of that when they can. The second leg's going to be under 72.5. So I talked about that I like the under here. I'm getting another 6.5 points, teasing it up to 72.5 just to be comfortable. You never know what could happen late at the end of the game, so just a little extra breathing room for that leg. And then I like Ladd McConkey for 25 plus receiving yards. If you look at his last 5 or 6 games, he's had 25 plus receiving yards in all of them. And if Stetson Bennett throws for over 250 yards, he's definitely going to go to Ladd McConkey 4 or 5 times, which should amount in at least 25 plus passing yards. So just a little parlay there that I like for this game. If you want to get a little extra action, try to get plus money odds for a bet on this game. But with that being said, that's all I have for this game. If you enjoyed the video, I'd appreciate it if you left a like. If you have, different thoughts or want to give your opinion, feel free to do so in the comment section. And if you're looking for more videos like this in the future, then definitely feel free to subscribe to the channel. And with that being said, I will catch you guys in the next video.